Well, it's a view from here. You should come up and see how it is. I didn't know how exactly it is to be an actor and to speak in front of an overbooked cinema, an overbooked space. I'm handling overbooking in the hotel industry. I know that this might be a failure, but I don't think this is a failure, and it's great. Thank you for coming here to listen to failures or to stories or whatever. I don't know exactly why I'm here. Normally, I am invited to speak about success in front of Romanian German communities. But I think today I can be authentic. I speak about failure in front of a French community, which is very close to my soul and to our Latin spirit. So it's a new exercise for me, and thank you for inviting me here. And I'm honored to be here and to talk a little bit about some stories. It's not easy to look back into your life and to see failures when you are educated to be successful, because this is what I've heard from my mother, from my father. Our family is a successful one. You have to be successful. You have to be the first in your school. You have to be very, very successful in your life. And starting with a conclusion, thank you very much, Monica, for giving that tip. You cannot avoid failures. And what I think about is that you have to fall and stand up and learn and be happy to have failures, because after this you are better. So this is my conclusion. And several days before this event, I had another speech, and it was at that moment clear to me that my starting point in the entrepreneurial life was a failure. I was born in Romania and went to Germany when I was 18, and I studied medicine there, and I was a successful medical doctor in Frankfurt, following my mother. She was in Germany 2 years before, and this was in a difficult time in Romania, 1980. And I went to Germany in 1982, and I was, as I said, a successful medical doctor. And after 10 years medicine, 6 years of studying, and 2 years of working in a hospital, I had an idea to quit. And I went to my mother and explained her that I want to quit medicine. And this was her dream. It was not really my dream. It was her dream. I became a medical doctor because he told me he wanted to become a doctor, and she couldn't. Secondly, I said to her, I quit Germany. And this was a big point, because he gave up her life in Romania to escape and to give her sons, I have a brother, a better future in Germany. And the third point, I will go back to Romania to become a transporter, to develop a company in the transport field. So failure number 1, failure number 2, failure number 3, at least in the eyes of my mother. But for me, it was a feeling. It was a feeling that I have to do something else. It was a feeling that I can have success in my life, and not in Germany, in Romania. So my lesson was that it was difficult to be a failure in the eyes of my mother, but it was a feeling that gave me the right idea in the right moment. I came back to Romania and I established a big group of companies, 28 companies in these 27 years. And it was the best decision of my life. So a failure can be your best decision. And then I give you an example from my business life in Romania. So I was here doing my core business, which was transportation, starting to build a network of travel agencies in Romania. And we started to open a lot of other businesses, and a young manager came to me and said, look, let's make a business in the rental-car world, because transportation is transportation. We had coaches and so on and so on. So I said, okay, if you want to play around, play, but don't disturb so much, so do it. And he was very young and very passionate, and he started with 4 cars. And then he grew, and he was in love with the business, and the business went in the good direction. But we had another big business. It was the coach business. So we had a big fleet, and we had, well, I don't know, 50 coaches and 150 drivers, and so on and so on. And at one moment we didn't have a manager, and I had an idea, and it was a failure. I told him, take over this company also. So this was the first failure. If you have a good manager in one field, don't lose focus with him, okay? But I did it because I thought if he's good on that, he might be good on the other also. So he started to do that, but it was a failure. And we started to have problems. And then I said, okay, we have to look for another one to be in the second place. And it was the second failure because I couldn't realize that it's not possible. If you have a manager who is in love with the business and you bring somebody else from outside, this might be a kind of a problem. And it was a problem. And it was a big fight. So the first manager went away, third failure. Fourth failure to the competition. Okay. And he's still in one of the biggest rent-a-car companies in Romania. He's doing a very good job. So congratulations on that. It was my failure to lose him. And then the second guy grew the company, and we became a franchise of the biggest company in the world, which is Enterprise. So we are this franchise Enterprise Romania, and we had a bigger fleet and a bigger fleet and a bigger fleet and so on and so on. And then the next failure came. This manager was not prepared for a big company. He was really not prepared. And the problem was that I didn't have a focus on that. It was just, come on, play around, do whatever you want, do not disturb so much, do it. So he failed, and we lost a lot of money before the pandemic. A lot of money means 2 million euros. Before pandemic and through the first year of pandemic, we lost 2 million euros. So he went. And I brought to that company a guy that is 20 years in our group, doing a lot of business with coaches. So he took over. And at that moment, I decided to sell. I sold the lines to Flixbus, and then I sold the travel agencies to their tour. And this was before the pandemic, 3 months before the pandemic. And this was not a failure. But you know, I didn't know. It was just like it was. Preparation of 2 years before. So I decided to sell, and I found a buyer. And we were discussing for several months, and we were very, very close to make a deal. Very close means it was like a distance of a comma. Really. So we should have signed next day. And this is the second lesson that I can share with you, I didn't sell. It was a feeling. I didn't sell. And then 2021 came and 2022, and the crisis for some businesses is an opportunity for other businesses. All the businesses with cars had a big opportunity the last 2 years because cars were not so many on the market, so the price of the second-hand cars went up, and the price for rent-a-car went up, and Enterprise did a special success, had a special success in the last 2 years. So we made in those 2 years so much money that I don't want to tell you. More than I could have received if I would have sold this business. Again, it was the feeling. So it's good to have a planning, it's good to have business plans, and so on and so on. But at the end of the day, it's the feeling. And if you have a failure in the eyes of your loved people, it might be a success for you. And if you have a failure when you want to do something in business, you don't do it because you have the right feeling, then the success might come. Anyhow, don't try to avoid failure because failures are everywhere. The only thing that we can do is to learn out of this and to be happy that this happens. And it happened to me several times in my life. And I hope it was not a failure to come here and to speak about failures. Thank you very much, Catalin and everybody, French Tech. An honor to speak in front of you. Thank you very much. And I wanted to speak about another failure, and this is the last year in the tourism industry. We had a failure in Danube Delta with our resort, Green Village. We had a failure last year in Transylvania with another resort, which is Valea Verde. Nice resorts, but big problem last year, so it was a difficult year. But I wanted to sell, but I didn't. So this year, if you go there, it will be better.